Hello, and welcome to the premiere episode of a new spin-off in the world of WCW Hearts Wrestling, a subsidiary of our LLC, if it were.
Some would even say a subsidiary.
Sure, that too. Titled The Worst Year of Our Life.
Welcome to week 1 of the
worst year of our life. Let me, first let's go around the room, introduce ourselves. I, of course, am Daniel.
Which way are we going around the room?
There.
All right, we're going clockwise today.
We are.
I'm Scott.
I'm Kelly.
Oh, Kelly doing a character for some reason.
Because Kelly is a character.
He is a character. He's a real card, that Kelly.
He's a real cuck.
Who are you?
I'm Drew. Did you call me a cuck?
So,
He called you a cuck.
So, we did go clockwise around the room to introduce ourselves, but because the theme of this show is we're turning back the clock to the year 2000, the worst year of our life. So here is sort of what we have for you. Over the course of the next 52 weeks,
Jesus Christ.
we will be bringing to you a podcast.
Now that you're saying it out loud.
I suggested a different format.
I immediately regret this.
The next 52 weeks, we will be bringing to you a podcast every week, recalling that week's episode of WCW Nitro from the year 2000, the Lord's year 2000.
18 years ago.
Arguably the best year in WCW history.
2000 AD.
2000 AD.
0 ATS.
Correct.
After the thong song.
After the thong song. The year 2000 brought us the thong song by Cisco, and that is, of course, how we measure all time.
That was our big chronological reset.
Yes.
Culturally.
So anyways, the year 2000 with WCW, possibly the worst year of television ever, unless...
And by the way, you're not talking about wrestling.
No.
Television. Period.
Absolutely.
Like, if you consider a year of wrestling TV a television season,
yes,
find me a worse television season.
I mean, very few television seasons have that many episodes. I guess soap operas.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
These are the days of our lives.
The worst days of our lives, as it were. So, we're going to start right from the beginning, the first episode of the year, January 3rd, 2000. We got some factoids and a little bit of preamble just to set the table where we're at. The most recent pay-per-view, of course, was Starrcade 99. Kind of an important pay-per-view in the history of wrestling.
Important?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not good? No. Terrible. But as far as history goes, noteworthy, I guess, would be the way to put it. So we got our fact checker over in the corner, clockwise to me, one Mr. Scott Henson. He's going to bring you up to speed. Who are the champions in WCW at the time? What happened at Starrcade? Let's set the table for the beginning of the year 2000, the worst year of our life.
Yeah, we're going to, basically leading up to this, we're going to ask the question that David Byrne asked. My God, how did I get here? You look like you had something.
I was going to say, I'm glad you have Cliff Notes because I don't remember a fucking thing that happened in 1999 because that had to be one of the worst years of wrestling in general.
Yeah, 1999 as a whole for wrestling, not like 1999 WCW is bad. 2000 is worse. That's why we're doing 2000. But 1999, the year for like mainstream wrestling. We have an ongoing joke that we've been telling since, I don't know, 1999. What was the best match of 1999? For WWF and WCW? There weren't any.
Something Kane related.
It's probably something Kane related.
The dog collar, the dog kennel match. Or whatever.
The kennel from hell.
That was 99, right?
Yeah, it was 99, yeah.
Good year.
Hey, I remembered something.
Because that dog's in it.
Yeah. I like that. What the hell was that? What? His weird voice. I thought you were like, what the hell is that? Because I said I like dogs. Everybody likes dogs.
Everybody likes dogs.
Not you monster.
Oh, I hate cats.
You're still a monster.
Speaking of the cats, was Ernst the Cat Miller, was he a title holder in...
He's not a title holder.
Okay.
So let me quickly run you through, these are previous facts, and also as we do the podcast, there will be live fact-checking all of this, and as well as the debates, so please go to npr.org for live fact-checking as we stream here. So, Starrcade 99 opened with the Mamalukes defeating the team of Disco Inferno and Lash LaRue,
That was a team.
famous tag team.
Sure.
First title match on the show, Medusa beating Evan Courageous for the Cruiserweight title.
Sure.
It's not about genders, it's about weight limits.
Dude, I don't...
No, it's about No Limits.
No, I like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be about No Limits for another 2 years, but
Yeah.
unless you're talking about No Limits soldiers.
Sure. That's already happened?
That's already happened,
Damn
yeah.
it. Can we go back and do 99?
No.
I need some swole in my life.
4x4?
He's a big one.
He's very big.
He's a big boy.
Anyway, moving on.
Norman, I was like, Norman the Lunatic? No, Norman Smiley.
Yeah.
Retained the hardcore title over Meng.
Yeah.
Sure.
That sounds good, actually. I'd watch that.
Sure.
Yep.
It was only 4 minutes long.
Sure.
Shane Douglas, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Asia, who I guess they were the faces? I don't remember Asia ever being a face.
She was a part of the Revolution, yeah.
Yeah.
They were, or were they heels by then? They turned.
Maybe they're... Oh, no, I guess they are heels.
They turned heel.
Okay, so they're heel over the Varsity Club
Yeah.
of Rick Steiner, Mike Rotunda, Kevin Sullivan, as well as Jim Duggan.
No, they were...
Because weren't the Varsity heels?
The Varsities were heels, and Duggan was like a reluctant babyface, I'm pretty sure. Like,
All right, so we had maybe 4 heels against 3 other heels and a face?
I think so.
Cool.
Yes.
Next. Vampiro beat Steve Williams and then got 5 minutes with Oklahoma and beat him.
I remember that whole feud, yeah.
Good stuff.
Let's make fun of JR.
Yeah. Creative Control and Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
Creative Control, who we find out on the first episode of Nitro, are not the same as Standards and Practices,
Yes.
which I
thought they were the
had
Harris
in my head.
brothers.
It was
Separate
all...
things?
Yeah. No,
But-
it's
well,
Lenny and Lodi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is Harris Brothers as Creative Control and Kurt Hennig over Harlem Heat and Midnight, which I think is we're in the midst of Harlem Heat splitting up.
Yes. They're going to fight down the line in 2000 for the rights to the
Well, the T.
The T.
Yeah, they're not going to fight though because we got to get Ahmed in there for the T.
Sure. He's not around yet.
Yeah.
So
Slapjack. Beat Tony Norris.
Jeff Jarrett beat Dustin Rhodes in a bunkhouse match.
sure.
Don't bleed.
DDP
Roadhouse.
different bunkhouse match.
Bunkhouse.
Jeff Jarrett is the person I already mentioned. DDP over David Flair in a crowbar on a pole match. I didn't look up if it was a crowbar or the wrestler crowbar, who was on the
Had to
pole.
pull up his butt?
Yeah.
What is the fascination with wrestling and things on a pole?
Well,
Vinny Rude.
I was going to say, you should ask Vince Russo
gotta climb and
because
get him.
he's the one with the fascination. He, having come in November of 99, right?
Yeah.
The end of October.
Halloween Havoc was the first thing he did.
Is it? I thought Mayhem was.
No, I think he was...
Is Halloween
yeah.
Havoc? Okay. That's fair. He goes away for a bit and then comes back in April with Bischoff, right?
yeah.
When does he go away?
I don't know, because it must be pretty soon, because the whole thing, like, it's only 6 months from when he... it's less than 6 months from
Correct.
when he comes in till when he
Comes back, yeah.
So he must be gone in, like, February?
March, yeah. I'll look it up. But anyways, keep going.
Yeah, because it was all early 2000 when, like, they kept switching bookers. It was, like, Kevin Sullivan and Kevin Nash and Kevin Thorne and Kevin Smith. Like, all the Kevins got to book.
Kevin Federline?
Kevin Federline.
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin! What else we got? Sting beat Lex Luger, because I think Miss Elizabeth turned on someone. Kevin Nash beat Sid in a powerbomb match.
Oh, yes.
Classic. Oh, I wonder how that powerbomb went.
I bet it was good. Actually, I bet it didn't even have a powerbomb. I bet it ended in a DQ or something.
Probably.
Chris Benoit retained the U.S. title in a ladder match over Jeff Jarrett, who had already wrestled that night.
Yep.
Reason Jeff Jarrett was there is because it was supposed to be against Scott Hall, and Scott Hall isn't going to come to your fucking pay-per-view. Don't be an idiot. And then main event, Bret Hart retained the world title over William Q. Goldberg via a Montreal screwjob with Roddy Piper.
Yes.
And Goldberg also broke Bret's brains.
Yes, that's the night that Goldberg kicked Bret Hart in the face.
It's the night the lights went out in Bret Hart's head.
Basically. Although, it probably didn't help that
He kept wrestling?
kept wrestling in January. I believe we see him on next week's episode of Nitro. He has a match.
Yep.
And I think that's the only match he has on Nitro in the year 2000. He does wrestle Terry Funk on Thunder, where he
In his
proceeds...
last match.
In his no, I think the match on Nitro is after. I
That's the
think,
night? Okay.
I think this week, the
But he
Nitro
gets
that
more
happens...
hurt in the Terry Funk match.
Correct. Also, just to catch everyone up to speed, it hasn't happened yet in what we've watched. Vince Russo gets fired at Sold Out later on this month.
Okay.
Because that's when Hart comes forward and says he can't wrestle and defend the title.
Yeah.
So they got to figure out what they're going to do with the title on Sold Out. And his
I know where
idea
this is going.
is to give it to Tank Abbott, at which point they said that's not a good idea. And so they tell him to go work on other things, and he takes his ball and goes home.
We're going to go pay you to not book
because
for a while.
he's Vince Russo. Anyways, that's a few weeks away. So
Yeah. So there's your Starrcade. Just a couple things I wrote down towards the end of 99 WCW. You had the Juventud Guerrero Jushin Liger tequila bottle incident resulting in an IWGP Junior title change, which I'm sure New Japan was thrilled about.
yeah.
The average show attendance went down 50% from December 98 to December 99.
Yeah.
Sid cut his "I have half the brain that you do" promo. Brett ran over Sid with a monster truck, and Sid came back the next week.
I always like it when they do that.
That was the very last Nitro of '99.
Yes.
Because the show that we watched kind of referenced
that,
that.
yeah. As far as average television ratings, Raw was doing a 5.85 to Nitro's 2.86. Oh man!
Oh boy! I bet you only a year prior they're within a point of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And also, Nitro's horrible 2.86 is like pretty good for Raw these days.
Oh, that would be fun. I mean, Raw is averaging low threes, I think.
It's
high
always,
twos.
it's always like around 3.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yes.
The night after Starrcade, as an encore to Scrambling Rhett's Brains, Goldberg decided to punch through a real limousine window and lose 31 liters of blood,
Yes.
nearly dying.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's a fucking pro.
Well, so now the point, that whole angle, again, this is classic Vince Russo writing for Vince Russo, not writing for, hey, what's feasible and what's safe to, safe situations to put our performers in. They gave Goldberg, I believe, like a metal object to punch out the windows with.
Yeah.
But he dropped it.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, here we are. That's why he punched it in.
Live TV.
And sliced his hands.
Yeah.
And you got some busy veins going on in your hands and your
You do.
wrists. And yeah.
Across the street, not down the road.
My doctor told me, he warned me about my busy veins. He gave me some pills for it.
Real veiny.
WCW lost $15 million in 1999. We'll see how they do this year.
Sure. This is after, I believe, making like $80 million in '98.
Yeah.
Something like that. At the point, they made the most money any wrestling company had ever
In a year.
made in a year at that point.
Yeah.
The WWE has since made more than that in a year, but
Yeah. And they could have made a lot more one year had it not been for a little football league.
yeah, but that has nothing to do with the worst year of our life,
This is not.
which brings us
It
to
actually
now.
follows the worst year of my life.
Yeah, and the only other thing I had, just the current champions going into this show.
This is going to change a lot.
It's
over
gonna
the
change a lot.
course of the year.
We're probably going to have to do this recap at the beginning of every show.
Honestly, we should. So
World champion is Bret Hart. U.S. champion is Jeff Jarrett. The tag titles are vacant because Scott Hall was one of them and he vacated it.
yes,
Cruiserweight champion is Medusa.
Vacated in parentheses.
The hardcore champion is Norman Smiley. And the TV title is also vacant because it was awarded to Scott Hall, who then threw it in the garbage and then didn't show up to defend his tag title
and
also.
I don't. That title
Or the U.S. title! Oh my god!
That title goes away for a while until Jim Duggan finds it in the garbage can
Continuity.
later on in the year.
In a different building.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, if it was the same building, I'd actually be kind of
Yeah, me
impressed.
too.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
had planned that out where they're like, hey, we're back
Hit
where
the
we left
cycle.
it.
Yeah.
Let's just find it.
Let's not kid ourselves, guys. That didn't happen.
I actually want to look it up after, though.
we can look it up later.
Well, that's a teaser for next episode. We will have the answer. Did Jim Duggan find the TV title in the same building that Scott Hall threw it away?
Yes. So that brings us to now. As you said, the WCW tag team titles are vacant,
Yep.
which brings us to January 3rd,
this show.
2000.
That's what this show's
the
about.
first Nitro of the year 2000. And it is a tag team title tournament.
Yes.
And is it
The best tournament?
the best tournament of our lives? Maybe the worst tournament of our lives?
It might be the best tournament of 2000 WCW.
I wonder. Was it a lethal lottery thing, or was it just some real random ass teams in it?
It's similar to random ass teams. I don't think it's Lethal Lottery, though,
Okay.
because some are actual teams.
So I've got facts and figures here. If we want to go with this, we can do this as a weekly feature. So the show came from Greenville, South Carolina. The attendance was 4,966 paid, plus an additional 2,000 in comps, for a total house of $153,000, which...
You could have followed WCW around like a groupie in 99, 2000 and just got comps to every show.
I wonder, did someone do that?
I hope so.
Are there any 2000 WCW deadheads?
Yes.
Are they Buzzkill fans?
They could be Buzzkill fans.
And then when WCW ended, they were just standing there like, I'm gonna miss you, WCW. Take me with you.
Take me with you, WCW.
So, speaking of Buzzkill, this brings up... So, these are the 8 teams remaining in the tournament.
And also, I always had it in my head that Buzzkill was a hippie gimmick and not just Road Dogg. Because he just did Road Dogg.
Basically, it was just... It was
Road Dogg in a tie-dye shirt.
It was Brad Armstrong.
Yeah.
Road Dogg's brother.
Yep.
Making fun of his brother.
Basically Vince Russo saying, oh, I made your brother big. Maybe we can make you big as well. I mean, I think it was a tie-dye shirt because we're a year too late and he was no longer wearing South Park t-shirts, as was all the rage in late 1987.
It really was the rage.
I remember in high school, that was all the rage.
South Park shirts.
South Park.
And then...
Outlaws wore it. Oddities wore it.
Yeah.
I don't remember the website, but they had South Park, like, wrestling characters. And then,
it was Kenny's Crib. Kenny's Crib.
Yes!
Where he did all South Park parodies.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then...
Does Kenny's Crib still exist?
Oh my god.
And at the shows, people would have, obviously, like, them at the... Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. Oh!
Guys, we can buy Kenny's Crib.
There's another one, but I don't remember what
Is
it's
it... oh, man. Is it...
Angelfire.
Angelfire.com?
Oh!
Well,
I think...
Holy
I
shit.
don't click on the links.
There's some. Let's see.
Hollywood Hogan?
Do these links still exist? Am I getting a virus?
You definitely...
Well, while Dan tries to figure this out,
totally have an E-worm now.
Hey! Web Junkie X.
That was him.
Amazing.
Scott Hall abandoned the television title in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan found it in a dumpster. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
God damn it!
Oh, not even in the same time zone.
Mountain versus Eastern, get out of here!
So Kenny's Crib, not in a thing, but if you do search Kenny's Crib South Park Wrestlers, there's a sweet angelfire.com page, angelfire.com/co/gangrel page/southpark.html. That is a pretty sweet
Steven Regal.
Remember when Gangrel was like the most popular wrestler in the world for 2 months?
99, 2000, both WCW and
Please
WWF.
visit Kenny's Crib. Even said at the bottom.
Also, it might give your computer virus.
You might get a Trojan in the process, but that's neither here nor there. Here are the 8 teams that remain in the WCW Tag Team title tournament. We have the Harris Brothers, who are not... They're not creative control.
They were creative control at Starrcade, but by January 3rd, they are the Harris Brothers.
Well, no, they're not creative control.
No, they were.
No, they are.
The standards and practices are Lenny and Lodi.
Lenny and Lodi.
Oh.
Harris Brothers were creative control.
Who I got a sick line on if we want to book them. Anyways.
Gotcha.
I keep hearing that.
Harris Brothers defeated Buzzkill and Mike Rotunda.
Which seems like a lethal lottery team.
That team seems thrown together to me.
Because they are not in the varsity club together.
No. But I believe Mike Rotunda and Kevin Sullivan, who joined him at ringside, did turn on Buzzkill during the course of this match.
Yes.
Yeah,
they abandoned him.
Yeah, so are we doing the match, or I didn't know if we were doing matches or just naming the teams?
Well, I'm kind of going through it. Let's do the matches. Why the hell not?
Just the one thing the one thing I had written before this was, because peek behind the curtain, we watched this Nitro a little bit of time before actually recording this. And I didn't make notes at the time, but I wanted to have something for when we do this so we have a clue what we're doing.
Yes.
So I looked up results for this, and literally the first hit that came up for the results for this said, "Holy shit, this is the worst Nitro ever."
Yeah, and at the time, I didn't feel like it was the worst Nitro ever.
It was a bad Nitro.
It was a bad Nitro. I know Kelly thought that it took forever to watch.
I felt like a million years. I was like, why is this still going? Has it been 4 hours? It's been a half hour.
These are mercifully back to 2-hour Nitros from the 3, which it was, I think, until the end of 99.
Yes, yeah. Which, that was one of our concerns about watching 52 weeks of Nitro in the year 2000 was 3-hour Nitros.
Yeah, that's actually what sealed the deal for us all agreeing to do it was okay. At least they're down to 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
So don't feel like it.
Doesn't feel like it.
No,
does not feel like it.
I don't know. Initially it did feel like it kind of flowed, but then it did take forever.
Well, we're about to watch the next one, so we'll see what it feels like.
This is true. The one thing I will say about this show is we did hear. I think everyone's big takeaway point was
bats.
Bats, and how many times did we hear the NWO theme?
Oh my god, so many times. Because here's the problem, because we're watching this on the network.
Yes.
So not only do we hear the NWO theme every time the NWO theme plays,
yes,
we hear the NWO theme every time Hogan's theme is supposed to play, because they don't have the rights to Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
So
I believe we heard the NWO theme like 8 or 9 times.
37 times was the final.
Because Nash and Steiner have 3 matches.
Yes.
Jarrett comes out 3 times.
Yeah, Jarrett and Bret Hart both come out and cut promos.
And I believe Hogan has 7 separate promos.
Yeah. So, anyways.
So, Buskill and Rotunda against the Harris Brothers. So in this, Lenny and Lodi debut as standards and practices in this match. Because they cover up Kimono Wanalea.
Yes.
Who's jumping on a trampoline.
Yes.
As part of the Varsity Club.
The problem with that is Kimono Wanalea's, who actually Leia Meow in WCW.
Yes.
Her boobs are so hard and plastic and fake.
They don't bounce.
Yeah. So the trampoline thing doesn't work.
Yeah. So there was that. Yeah, there was some other.
If you could tell me a single move that happened in this match,
not in a million years, Dan.
To be fair,
I remember there being a brief moment of
clarity in your life, and then you watched WCW.
Exactly. There was very basic chain wrestling with Mike Rotunda and
one of the Harris Brothers,
and that was it. It was literally maybe 15 seconds.
And the Harris Brothers were dressed like Teamsters, right? Like they were just dudes in shirts and sweatpants.
They're dressed like skinheads because they're skinheads.
They're
sure.
Gears.
I feel skinheads dress better than the Harris Brothers dressed in this instance.
Low-level skinheads.
This match only went 2 minutes.
The Harrises won.
Which is a recurring theme because this is Monday Night Wrestling in the 99s and 2000s. The longest match on this show was 5 minutes. The next longest match is 3. So, every match on the show goes 2 or 3 minutes, basically. Which I feel is why I felt like the show went by, because I was like, hey,
at least that's new stuff.
We've watched 6 matches, but it's only been half an hour.
40 minutes. Yeah, exactly.
I might have already said this, but this is Lethal Lottery. It says...
Is it a lethal lottery?
It says right there, lethal lottery.
Yeah, I guess it was a lethal lottery then. Okay.
That's okay.
A lot of coincidental teams.
The next match is pretty coincidental for a lethal lottery, as Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner
of the NWO,
both of the NWO, faced PG-13,
a team
who are just a team.
And Scott Steiner, which not even wearing gear, wearing a shirt.
I believe Scott Steiner's hurt here.
Yeah. He is, because he didn't wrestle any of their matches?
No.
He was on the apron for a part of one match, and then he sat at commentary the rest of the time.
Yes.
I think...
and he said shit a bunch of times.
Oh my god, he said shit so many times.
I'm pretty sure he called a fan a shithead, or sit down shit boy, or something.
You might have coined the term fuckboy in the year 2000. So I think Steiner was hurt.
Yes.
And I think the week before, the last Nitro of 99, he cut a fake retirement promo. And turned heel.
Yeah.
And then, because I think in one of his 7 promos on this show, he talked about how he deserved an Oscar.
Yeah, and then he said, should I fake retire again for you idiots?
Yeah. And then just said the word shit as its own sentence.
Yeah. So, that match went all of 15 seconds.
Diamond Dallas Page beat up PG-13.
Yes.
For reasons unexplained.
Yes.
And Nash pinned one of them.
That sounds about right.
So neither Kevin Nash or Scott Steiner have done any work yet.
Yes. So that brings us to the next match.
The next thing I wrote was NWO promo number 1 of 12.
Okay.
Bret Hart calls Sid a big stupid dummy.
Okay. And prior to this, Sid had jumped Bret Hart, whose brain is made of pudding at this point.
That's correct.
In the back.
And he was being very ginger with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was...
And then when the NWO found Bret, he was sitting there quietly like an old man, just sitting in a diner booth in the back corner, just blowing on his soup.
Bret Hart was a Norman Rockwell painting.
Next match, which kind of leads to a recurring theme of the show, we have Crowbar and David Flair. Also a team. Kind of funny for this. I don't question... Now I kind of go back to I felt bad when I was it was a lethal lottery. I should remember that. But now that we're going through the teams...
A lot of teams.
I don't think I'm in the wrong for forgetting this was a lethal lottery.
It's literally half lethal lottery and half made-up teams.
So Crowbar and David Flair versus Lash LaRue and Midnight.
Yep.
Midnight being
A giant black lady.
Just black lady.
who was just like
female.
I could have sworn
Female Booker T.
she was someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I know she wasn't Jazz or Jacqueline or someone, but I thought she was someone.
Yeah.
She's literally not. She's Midnight and nothing.
Oh, and Stevie Ray was doing commentary and then interfered in the match, didn't he?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, because he wants to bang Midnight.
Midnight did a fucking sweet one-handed cartwheel.
Yeah. Yes. Did
in
she
the
do a
match.
really good leapfrog too? I
think so.
recall her having.
She was
ups.
athletic.
She was very athletic.
Fair, butts higher.
Their butts are higher.
Watch Midnight be like the unsung
Hero
MVP
of
of WCW 2000 television.
I hope she is. I was legitimately a fan in this match. The Mamalukes and Stevie Ray interfere. And more like Harlem Heat dissension, because I think Stevie Ray interferes for Midnight, and Booker's like, "Hey, don't interfere, man."
Like, let her fight her own battles.
Yeah, and in the
Oh, he slapjacks him.
he slapjacks him, and in the melee, Flair and Crowbar win. So those keeping score, no clean finishes yet.
No wrestling.
Yes.
No wrestling yet.
Flair and Crowbar are, of course, accompanied by Daphne.
Yes.
Are we coming up on her? Like, she's kind of got like a
does.
show long storyline.
I didn't write anything
Okay.
for her. She gets kidnapped.
Daphne gets kidnapped, and then Flair and Crowbar and Arn Anderson, who is he's kind of like a VP, or he gets like kind of appointed a position, but
yes.
like
The next thing, Terry Funk is named the commissioner.
yes.
He makes a bunch of pay-per-view matches for Sold Out that will not happen.
That don't happen, and
and
like,
Arn is sort of made like the deputy commissioner,
basically.
Yeah.
And so those two, as well as Flair and Crowbar, are searching for Daphne, kind of for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
In like very random, just
dark
locales,
rooms.
alleys, and whatever.
Yeah.
So, next match on the show is Tank Abbott and the Total Package. I do not remember this match whatsoever.
I do. It was
I didn't write it down, so it must not have been an official match, but it was a thing.
Yeah, it was Lex Luger coming out with Elizabeth, and then and he had he was coming out because he was making fun of Sting. He had Sting face paint on. And
That's right. Oh, and the jacket and stuff.
The jacket,
Yeah.
and then Tank Abbott came out and he was all like
Super babyface Tank Abbott.
and like being all scared, and then something
Future world
and
champion
then-
Tank Abbott.
Then something it ended.
Yeah.
and then Lex Luger continued to be a jerk.
Yeah.
So the next real match, we saw it first in the brackets they showed on the graphic on the screen, which was Norman Smiley and Asia, against Buff Bagwell, and CCK.
Yes.
And all four of us, like, who the fuck is CCK? None of us had a goddamn clue.
Is it Andrew WK's wrestling brother?
Could have been. But instead it was Chris Champagne Canyon,
There you go.
which all of us had forgotten about.
Who gayer than Canyon?
Who ever referred to him as CCK?
No one has never.
No, I remember like Champagne Chris Canyon.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but
not CCK.
no. And I don't know, like, what was his gimmick? He came out with like the
Ladies.
Milano Collection AT2000 like New Year's glasses
Yeah.
and a bottle of
Some
champagne.
ladies.
You have
Shiny
Yeah,
shirt.
he had some ladies.
literally covered his gimmick.
That's his
top to bottom
gimmick.
at this
There
point.
you go. Is it like working at the episode of The Simpsons where they go to Itchy and Scratchy Land?
Oh, the New
and
Year-
there's like the
New Year's
one
Island.
club, New Year's Island, where every year's New Year's.
Please kill me.
And it's like every day New Year's for Champagne Chris Canyon. Like he's always
Here
celebrating.
we go again.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was Y2K. The millennium was upon us.
Sure, he was happy to be alive. Probably.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Not for much longer. You started it.
No,
I didn't.
He lasted another like.
He was around
years.
for a few years. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Speaking of Y2K, I spent my Y2K watching ECW on TNN. I
Great episode.
It was a really good episode. But anyways.
Awesome Tanaka rematch.
Yep. So I remember, was Norman dressed? He was dressed in like whatever the Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah,
like,
she was the South Carolina
like junior hockey
team mascot.
or was it an
was a
AWA
bear.
team or
An AWA no, it was
AHL? I mean,
Could have been an AWA.
I think it was an ECHL team.
ECHL team. Yeah.
Third division.
Yeah.
It was bear of some sort.
Yeah.
He was a bear. He was a bear cat.
Bearcat.
I remember it being like
A bear and a cat fuck.
Yeah.
amusing, wearing the costume and doing like the dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I
Gross would
don't.
be awesome.
And also, I recall, I'm pretty sure him and Asia turned on each other, which is a recurring theme of partners in this tournament.
Also, Buff turned on Canyon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it was
So Buff was a face.
Yes.
Canyon was a heel.
yeah.
Buff kills Canyon.
Yes. But during the entrance, maybe.
Almost. Yeah. Wins by himself.
Yes.
And technically was a clean finish.
There we go.
it was.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Norman took a fucking killer blockbuster in the mascot.
Yes.
suit.
Yes. I do recall that actually. So now we have we're on to the second round.
On to the second round. Semifinals.
Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner defeat the Harris Brothers.
The Varsity Club attacks the Harris Brothers. Scott Steiner pins one of them. Nash and Steiner, 2 matches in the tag title finals. Neither have done a lick of work yet.
Yes, that sounds about right. That brings us to the other semifinal.
Yep.
Which is Crowbar and David Flair versus Buff Bagwell and
CCK,
who
is replaced.
by Vampiro?
Yes.
Yes.
Because CCK is dead.
Yes.
Not real yet.
Yes.
And Vampiro just going all out and hitting all his moves.
Yeah. He hits like a bunch of like spin kicks and does he have power bomb?
So what I wrote was Vampiro replaces Canyon, does nothing wrong. Buff kills Vamp and leaves.
Yes.
Flair and
As the face.
yes, still as a face.
Yes.
Flair and Crowbar win.
Yes.
Yeah.
2000 WCW, everybody. That's a phrase we're going to repeat, I don't know, another 52 times at least.
Oh, yeah.
This year. So, was there anything else, or does that bring us straight to the finals?
We got a
It's the
Jarrett
powerbomb match.
versus Sid powerbomb match.
yes.
Where powerbomb did not happen.
The match ended in a disqualification.
Yes.
There were also multiple 2 counts off of not powerbombs.
all in the span of 2 minutes.
That's correct.
Yes.
That brings us to the finals.
Okay, so we're at the finals of this Lethal Lottery tournament for the vacant WCW tag titles, which titles apparently nobody wants.
No.
Except for the teams that randomly get drawn together.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess the finals are made up of 2 teams.
There are 2 teams.
Right? Crowbar and David Flair kind of preoccupied with the whole Daphne thing going on, I guess, but sort of, but not really.
Not
like,
that
I don't think
much.
David Flair really gives a fuck, if I recall.
No, we'll find out how little David Flair gives a fuck about anything, really.
Yes, this is true. So,
The wrong son died.
The wrong son died.
Jesus Christ. Do I have another 51 weeks of you guys just like cursing out people who have died in the last 18 years?
Well, better hope that there's a lot less David Flair and Canyon as things progress.
I'm sure there's more dead people we're going to come across.
And Mike Awesome and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Guys, it's going to be a lot.
Oh, God.
A lot of dead folks
dead
on
people.
I don't think I'll speak ill of Bam Bam.
No, Bam Bam's awesome.
Bam
The
Bam.
rest of them is fine.
Sure. So, the finals, I know Crowbar and David Flair won.
Yep.
I don't remember what happened.
I'll tell you how they won.
Sure. I figured you would.
Here's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Steiner says shit a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Steiner was on commentary.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's
is this the match where he's cursing out fans?
yes.
And okay. And none of it gets bleeped on the network,
No,
so
none.
bring it up. It's pretty funny, actually.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch one thing, watch that.
Yeah.
Steiner says shit a lot. Arn kills Nash.
Yeah.
David wins. David then attacks Arn.
Yeah.
We die.
Yeah,
is what I wrote.
Yes. Okay, I do remember that. And how it made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, so Arn's a face.
Yeah.
Nash and Steiner are heels. They were being jerks.
And I
Arn,
recall,
hits Nash with a thing.
I think, Arn and Terry are kind of looking out for
Yeah.
Flair and Crowbar because they're also looking out for Daphne's well-being.
Yeah.
And they're kind of telling Flair and Crowbar to, not mess with these guys kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I do remember Arn.
Yeah, Arn knocks out Nash with a thing. Flair pins him. Flair repays this kindness of Arn by killing him.
Yes.
And
That's how the show goes off the air,
That's how
right?
the show goes off the air.
They're just on the rampway with the titles, and it's like, oh, these are our new champions who are pricks, basically.
No, they're just lunatics.
I guess, yeah.
And then I just had some post-show notes. First one being, what is their bat budget?
Yes, there was so many bats, but
So many
they were
bats.
very obviously they're spray painted to look like they're aluminum.
Yes,
But
they
there-
are styrofoam.
There was definitely a couple shots where you could tell they were styrofoam.
Yes. I also wrote Jeff Jarrett wore 8 different pairs of sunglasses, almost as many times as the NWO played.
Sure. He's a different pair for each time the theme plays.
Yeah, so that was I appreciate little things like that. I I don't think anyone did gear changes for the tournament because fuck it, why would you? At this point?
No.
But
They probably didn't even break a sweat in the gear they wore. Nobody, no match went too long.
I always like someone who wears if they do an 8-man tournament, wears 3 different sets of gear for each.
I do too, although, to be fair, this is wrestling in the late 90s, early 2000s, where everyone's very influenced by the ECW chic kind of look, that being black t-shirts and jeans.
That being not gear.
And so, I mean, like, the Harris Brothers aren't wearing gear, Buzzkill's not wearing gear.
Yeah, I don't know what the Harris Brothers costume change
Flair and Crowbar aren't wearing gear unless you count, like, ripped up jeans and...
knee pads over jeans.
Yeah, but I was going to say, they're like
pads.
skateboarding knee pads. Yeah, they're definitely not, like, pro wrestling knee pads.
That way you can slide.
How the fuck did X-Pac get away with wrestling with motocross knee pads for how many years? Because those are hard plastic.
Those are hard. He obviously wasn't kneeing guys in the face, but or maybe he was.
Also noted that Scott Steiner never put gear on.
No, he was hurt.
I mean, he in theory didn't wrestle.
He had a shirt that had himself spray painted on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was there spray painting on the show? They definitely did. They spray
PG-13.
They did it silver, and it didn't show
PG-13. Yeah, that's
this
right.
is when they're doing the black
this
and silver.
NWO Elite.
Buck.
Silver,
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're going to find out because next week we got another week of the worst year of our life. January 10th, 2000. I'm sure there will be more people being spray painted silver. We're going to hear the NWO theme 9 more times. We're going to have a million promos. Jesus. All that and more as we continue the worst year of our life, the year WCW 2000. Do we have anything to sign off with?
Until next time, go watch some good wrestling.
Don't.
Hey,
Also,
hit the button, Jack.
hey! Before we go, I want to give a shout out.
Bonus track.
Bonus track. Shout out. All hail United States President Mike Pence.
President Pence, you're doing the Lord's work.